Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that everybody is having a good weekend so far. Welcome Rumi, hi Dolet, Akira, Chayan Kip, Jamshidbek, Praitino, Unthinkable, Kundan. Nice to see many students in the class. Hi, Sarah. Welcome, Nancy. Welcome to our members. Students, this is IELTS Speaking Part 3, the final part of the speaking section. That's what we are focusing on in this class. That's what we will be talking strategy and examples for. And we are continuing on the topic of creativity, various types of art. If you were watching our channel half an hour ago, you would have seen our speaking part 2 cue card class, which was talk about a person who you know who is creative. Students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. It is the place to go. For general IELTS, it's GIELTS help.com. These are the two websites that we use for these live classes. We have 6 practice exams, lots of videos, interactive courses, strategies, apps for your mobile phone on our websites. We will use the websites today for speaking practice with our viewers. And so hang in there. It's going to be fun and exciting. This is our academic IELTS website here. Click this big red button that's just right above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official IDP affiliate British Council partner. I'm a certified British Council agent, and we are an official IELTS test registration center for both IDP and British Council. So you're in great hands with us, and you can use the code Target9. So click use coupon code right there and enter Target9. Target9. This is coming from our newest video that we just released for speaking practice. And you will get a 20% discount off the premium IELTS package. That code will work on our general IELTS website as well, gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button that's, again, just right above my head right there. And of course, the apps, Academic IELTS Help and the app General IELTS Help will link to those websites for even better study. And then our Instagram, IELTS _ help and GIELTS help has a lot of our vocabulary strategies videos. Subscribe to the channel, this channel that you're watching, to know when the live classes are happening. If you have questions, send me an email. Any question that you might have. Adrian@aehelp.com. Hello, everybody. Lots of students joining in. That's awesome to see. Great to see. All right. So we've got lots of classes coming up over the next week. We've got speaking part 3 today, right now. Then tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, there's no class. But we will have a reading on Wednesday for everybody. And then speaking on Thursday, and more classes on Friday and Saturday. So I will post the schedule on our YouTube channel in the bulletin. Make sure again to subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when these live classes are happening. Okay, everybody. Again, we just released this video for speaking. I know a lot of you are here to learn to speak. Hi, Roger. Good to see you being studious and in this class also. There's their latest video. It's like a karaoke style first person video. As far as I know, we're still the only ones doing this type of video until, of course, somebody copies us. people on YouTube definitely like copying our channel. But this is like a first-person style speaking interview where I'm actually interviewing you as an examiner. We've got some karaoke for the subtitles, so check out that video. It's really cool. It's very good for your learning. Okay, everybody. Speaking part 3 of the IELTS exam. Let's get into it. And I want to do lots of practice with you today, so I'm going to focus on practice combined with strategy. Now, to get us going, let's just do a quick recall of the previous class. The reason why is that speaking part 2 is strongly, or speaking part 3 is strongly connected to speaking part 2, vice versa. So speaking part 3 is connected to part 2. So make the connection. Okay. And this is a speaking class, everybody. So make sure to speak and repeat. Copy what I say. Copy how I say it. I use or I speak with a West Coast North American accent. Some people might say it's Canadian. Yeah, doesn't really exist. There's no such thing as a Canadian accent or American accent. We have regional accents in North America. So West Coast accent, East Coast accent, Southern accent, Central accent. It's kind of more accurate. So I speak like people in Seattle, San Fran, Los Angeles, okay? Hollywood style English. That's my English, if you will. All right, so copy what I say. Copy how I say it. Mimic my fluency. Mimic my mannerisms even. Be me. Ooh, scary thought. Anyhow, so speaking part 3 is connected to speaking part 2, so don't forget speaking part 2 for speaking part 3. Students that watched the last class, what was the answer for speaking part 2? Last class. Okay, it was a person who I know about who is creative. What was the answer? I want you to think about this. Amra says it was an event planner. Right. Exactly. Rajveer, you should know this. You came up with the idea, right? Okay, and so creative friend. Paras, yes, the event planner. All right, yeah, that was good. And then I interviewed a couple of people, Sun, Baljit, and Sunantha. They also had some ideas. So Baljit says, love deep. Yeah, also we had a love deep. The artist, yes. And how about Sun? Anybody remember Sun's answer? Father, the architect. Okay. We also had some other really good ideas for part 2. So hopefully you did not forget about that. Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. So you want to make those connections in part 3. Okay, now also part 3, just as we get going here, use the question in your answer. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So the examiner says that is the end of part 2. We will now continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. Please put your note paper and pencil to the side. Let's talk about creativity. What are some different ways that people express their creativity? Well, like my friend Paras, individuals show their creativity through their work, like planning special events or being an architect, and designing buildings. They may also show their creative side and their hobbies, like drawing and singing. Although I'm not a professional, I love to hum a tune every now and again. All right, so I'm using the question and I'm using the ideas from part 2 to give my answer, okay? Don't get stuck. They're related. Sometimes candidates are like, oh, I don't know what the examiner is asking me. Don't panic. Don't freak out. First point that you need to remember is the question is related to part 2. So if you're talking about creativity in some way, you should be able to figure it out. Okay, now again, this is speaking, everybody, so I want you to speak and repeat. Okay, so here we go. What are some different ways that people express their creativity? Well, like my friend Paras, individuals show their creativity through work like planning special events or being an architect and designing buildings. They may also show their creative side and their hobbies like drawing and singing. Although I'm not a professional, I love to hum a tune every now and again. Nice. Notice the new vocabulary, hum a tune. Okay. Do 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 do. That's humming a tune. Oh, please don't record that. Oh no, it is recorded on YouTube. That's me humming a tune. All right. So hum a tune. I'm sure a lot of us do it. So this is how you approach part 3. Okay, you use the question, you use your ideas, you give clear answers, explanations, and examples. All right. Okay. Students, let's practice. All right, let's get into some practice. I want you to practice with me in this class as much as possible. So I'm going to ask you these questions and you can have a chance to answer. And I will give you a band score estimate. So I will tell you what score you would likely get on the IELTS exam. Usually my estimates are very accurate. A lot of times students say, oh, I got exactly what you told me I would get me. And then I will give you ways to improve. So I will tell you how to improve and I will give you strategies. And this will be for everybody. So let's learn from each other. Volunteering, this is how you do it. Go to our website. Okay, our website has the ability for us all to speak and hear each other. So go to our website, aehelp.com. Create a student account or log in if you have one. Click on Student Partner Speaking. Make sure that your microphone and speakers are working. Test it with another person. Okay, so test with another person. If you're not sure, if it's your first time. Don't close the window, keep it open. And then you will see me, my name will just come up as big letter master. It's easy to see. And then send me a message like, I want to volunteer. Okay. Let me show you. Okay. So go to the website. You can go to either academic or general IELTS. It's going to be the same interface if you have a general IELTS account. Create an account by clicking one of those two buttons. I recommend getting the full course, the red button, but if you want to try it out first, then just click the green button. And then go to your student account. In your student account, you have tons of goodies: computer-based practice exam, full online interactive course, exam book, workbook, study plans, PDFs, lesson videos, audio CDs, writing task services. So lots of help. Right now, we're using this function right there that is, again, just right above my head there. It's the student partner speaking. And for some of you, you can even register for the IELTS exam by clicking that red button for the online at home. If you don't see it, it's because it's not available in your country. But right now, student partner speaking, click on that. Accept that you are of age, you will be polite, and you will use this service with care and with professionalism. Now, when you're in here, you will see, whoa, lots of people. Sansar, Dilip, Rajveer, Leonardo, Ziadullah, Tara, Sarah, Kurlus, Sam, Harmony, Shivam, Islam, Bek, Sanantha, and Mohammed are all in here. And then you'll see me as master. Okay, I don't see myself in here, but you should see me as master. And then you can send me a message that's I want to volunteer by clicking on the blue envelope. So each of us has that blue envelope to message. Okay, when you practice with each other, use video, use audio, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. Okay, so we have a few different volunteers. That's really nice. Let's start with Sarah. She was the first one volunteering today, and we've got lots of time for volunteers. So, Sarah, are you ready? I'm just going to put on my ears here so I can hear you.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Nothing much, just sleeping.
Just catching up on some Z's. Do you know this expression?
No.
Okay, so I plan to catch up on some Z's. Because when we're sleeping, we have, in English, we have that Z sound, like zzz,
Yeah.
like you're sleeping. So you're planning to catch up on Z's. It means that you want to get some sleep and rest. Okay, good. Anytime, everybody, that you see new vocabulary or phrases, write it down. Sarah, you're in Marseille, France, correct?
Yes. Correct.
Correct. And Marseille is a coastal city.
Yes.
How often do you go to the beach?
I used to go like every day for a walk because like the place that I lived in was so near to the beach. But nowadays I'm like quite far, so I go just in weekends and like with friends.
Yeah, because Marseille is along the Mediterranean coast in Europe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's very beautiful beachfront. That's why I'm asking. I've been there, so I know what it looks like. I have the picture in my head. Okay,
You've been there.
I have. I've traveled through Marseille. I've traveled through France back in 2005. So, okay. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I just said like that's so old. Like
That was a while ago, yes. I'm sure it's changed a bit. Okay, Sarah, let's get into some part 3 questions. Are you ready?
yes.
Awesome. Then let's talk about creativity. What are some different ways that people express creativity?
There are several ways that people can show their creativity, such as by artificial works and by practicing their hobbies like dancing and singing and drawing. As I mentioned in part 2, my friend that he shows his creativity by drawing using oil.
Which of these is most valued by society?
Just give me a second to think about it. Yes, nowadays singing is being valued more by society because it's being more trendy, and teenagers are all practicing that and going to show it.
All right. I'm going to stop there for now and give you some feedback. So, band score wise, I think that would be a band 6.5 is what I would score it as. Some examiners might be a little bit stricter and say 6, just because of some of the awkward language and grammar mistakes there. It wasn't one of your best responses, Sarah, in all honesty, but it was fluent. I'll let you know why. Some examiners might score to 7. Some might say, hey, whatever, a couple of mistakes doesn't make a lot of difference. It's still good English. But let's take a look at it more carefully. So here, what are some different ways that people express their creativity? You said there is several ways. So it was such a immediate mistake, and that kind of hurt. It was like, ouch. There are several ways. So careful with the is, are when several ways, right? Plural. So there are several ways that people can show creativity, such as artificial works. What does that mean, Sarah? Artificial works.
Okay, I was trying to say something, but the word in French was different than English. So I released that after saying it, and I wanted to correct it, but I messed it up.
Yeah, you got to correct it. You got to correct it. So if that happens, or if you realize that you've just translated from your own language and it doesn't make sense, don't just keep going. Okay, that's a bad idea, because you just became incoherent, right? Artificial works is kind of like, you mean like making robots or something? So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? So here, instead of just replacing this, I'm going to show you what you need to do. So it's good. Mistakes are good, Sarah, because we learn from mistakes. We all do. Everybody does. I do. You do. Everybody watching does. Okay. So there are several ways that people can show creativity, such as artificial works. What I mean to say, or what I meant to say, is works of art. Okay. And by practicing their hobbies such as singing and drawing, as I mentioned in part 2, my friend, and then it got a little bit weird there too, my friend is an amazing painter using oil on canvas. Okay, so just a little bit of correction there, all right? Small mistakes, but many small mistakes add up to lower scores. So when you make a mistake with plurals, like is instead of are, you translate from French to English and it doesn't make sense, like artificial works. You have a strange ending with your example. It all kind of comes together to a less than good English, because band 7 is good, band 6 is fluent. You were fluent and it was fairly clear, but can we say it was good? Not in my books, right? Not in that case. So that's why you end up with that band 6.5. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So the learning point here, Sarah, is when you know that you have made a mistake. And this is natural, and you will get points for doing this, because native speakers in a language do it too. When you're speaking in French and you make a mistake, you stop yourself and you tell, whoever your listener is that, I made a mistake and this is what I meant to say. So let's practice this. I'm going to say it and then repeat it. And this is for everybody. So when Sarah is repeating, you can repeat as well. Okay, listen, Sarah, and once I'm finished with the response, just copy after me, okay? So there are several ways that people can show creativity, such as artificial works. What I meant to say is works of art. And by practicing their hobbies, such as singing and drawing. As I mentioned in part 2, my friend is an amazing painter using oil on canvas.
There are several ways that people can show creativity, such as artificial works. Sorry, what I meant to say is work of art, and by practicing their hobbies such as singing and drawing. As I mentioned in part 2, my friend is an amazing painter using oil on canvas.
Canvas. Canvas is that white
Canvas.
fabric that painters use. So that white cloth, that fabric that's stretched on a frame, that's called a canvas. Okay, canvas is that white. It's not paper, but it's like paper that painters paint on. Okay, so all of those amazing paintings in the Louvre Museum in Paris, those are oil on canvas, most of them. Okay, and then I asked you which one of these is most valued by society. You used the good strategy there. You're like, oh, what? You said, just give me a second to think about it. And then you said, I guess nowadays singing is being valued most by society because teenagers are practicing that and going to show it. Again, in my head, that was like, okay, your start was okay, but the explanation was really weird. Think a little bit.
Actually because I thought like I didn't get the question. Like even when I thought about it, it didn't make any sense for me. So I tried just to throw anything, like just any answer, just to not stay silent.
Right. So here we have another very important tip for all of our viewers and you. It's a very common situation. It's difficult to be 100% sure that you understand the question. Even as native speakers, we're not always 100% sure. In fact, we're often not 100% sure that we understand each other's questions. And many times we don't understand each other's questions 100%. So it's not important, Sarah, to have 100% understanding. If you think you know, then you know. Are you following me? Okay. So this is a very important rule for the IELTS. Okay. So if you think you know the question, then you know the question. Don't second guess yourself. I see candidates do that a lot where they think they know, but they're not sure. So then they start to hesitate and they give awkward answers because they're worried it's not the right. No, if you think you know, you know. Be confident. Okay. So if you think you know the question, you know the question. Okay. So just answer. Very important. It's a very good point, Sarah. Thank you for helping me point that out. And you did understand the question. So I could tell by your first 2 sentences that you understood it, but your explanation was weird. So I agree. And it's subjective. It doesn't have to be, there's no right answer here. So you said, I guess nowadays singing is being valued most by society because why is singing being valued most by society? So what evidence do we have in our everyday life that singing has a very high value for creative work? And I bet you some people in our chat are going to help us out here. So how do we know this? Tell me, Sarah, how do we know that people love creative artists who are singers?
Because the number of the listener for music is high and the number of singers is like becoming higher day by day.
Okay, good. Step back a little bit, right? So I guess nowadays singing is, you don't need to say being, just valued, is valued the most by society because of the number of listeners. Can you give me an example of a high number of listeners for singers that are popular?
Like name of singers?
Yeah. Give me just a random name of a famous singer.
There is
Let's just go Justin Bieber. Let's go with the Biebs. I don't even know how to spell his name. I think it's like that. Like Justin Bieber. How many views does he have on YouTube?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
Oh wait, let me check it out.
Don't look. No, just guess. I'm sure you can guess. Because she says, why didn't you go with Harry Styles? Okay. Yeah, you can go with anybody. Justin Bieber has billions of views for his music videos on YouTube and earns millions of dollars every month. Okay. So now you have given a good answer explanation to this. So keep it fresh, keep it, think of popular mediums, right? And then it's a much more sensible answer that's going to get a much higher band score. So one more repetition work here. And again, this is for everybody. So I'm getting Sarah's help here with her answers to really give all of you some good ideas of what to do next when you're volunteering. Here we go, Sarah. So I'm going to say this one more time and then repeat me once I'm done, okay?
Yes.
All right. So just give me a second to think about it. I guess nowadays singing is valued the most by society because of the number of listeners. Like Justin Bieber has billions of views for his music videos on YouTube and earns millions of dollars every month.
Okay. So just give me a second to think about it. I guess nowadays singing is valued the most by society because the number of listeners, like Justin Bieber, has billions of viewers for his music videos on YouTube and earn millions of dollars every month.
That's a band 9, okay? So that's how you get into that range. Again, remember, if you think you know, just answer. If you got it wrong, don't worry about it. You got it wrong, you won't know, right? But definitely don't be hesitant. Don't hesitate. Okay, Sarah, lots of really good learning there. So thank you for volunteering and for those responses. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Have a great weekend and catch some Z's. Bye. All right, that was Sarah. Very good. Lots of learning, everybody. Lots of learning. More volunteers. Kurlus. You are there. Are you there? We're going to pick up some more and more speed here as we move along, because you're going to have better and better ideas as you listen to each other volunteer and listen to me fix those mistakes. Then you can adopt those fixes and make your responses better. So I'm looking at all of our lovely volunteers. Tara, I see you there at the bottom, and I know you tried volunteering last time too, so hang in there. I will come to you next. Kurlus. Hi, Kurlus. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. Kurlus, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sudan, Khartoum.
From Sudan. Awesome.
Yeah. I am watching your videos about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, you've been with us for a while. That's great. Thanks for your support. And Kurlus, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
That is because I want to complete my master degree in Germany.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me help you with that a bit by asking you some questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's talk about creativity. How can people improve their creativity?
As far as I can say, people can improve their creativity by watching a lot of people that is creative. Like me as architect, I am watching a lot of buildings designs and imagination, how that is working, how this building is work really. Like about for my graduation project, I watch architect Oli Sherin designs a lot of buildings like the interlace, and this really inspiring for my graduation project.
Has technology helped in any way to improve creativity? And if yes, in what way?
Yeah, definitely. Because as I said before, I watch all the designs of Oli Sherin by internet in Arch Daily website. I don't want to go to visit the interlace. I just when I am in home and exploring in the internet, I can that's helped me a lot to understanding the building, the concept of the building, and how it really works.
All right. Great. Nice answers. Some good language. Good for you. All right. I wish I could speak Sudanese as well as you speak English. That would be cool. All right. So let's talk about this. I would say that that would be about a band 6.5 answer. Which is good, which is good. Some might score you a little bit lower, 6. Some might score you a bit higher, 7. It's because you have some grammatical mistakes that are unnatural. Yeah. And some examiners are stricter when it comes to grammar, and some are less so. So here's an interesting tip for people. Maybe you know this, Kurlus. You can request for a remark on the IELTS. So if you don't like your score, like let's say you got a band 6 in speaking and you're like, I don't think it's fair. When you know that you have grammar mistakes, that's when it might be a good idea to request a remark, because if somebody listens to your speaking, the recording, and they're not as strict about grammar, then they might give you a higher score. Okay. So it might be an idea for those students, for those candidates who know that their speaking has some small grammar mistakes. If you ask for a remark, you might get a better score. Might. No guarantees, no promises, but you might. Okay. A little bit slower, Kurlus. A little bit smoother. I'm
a little nervous, by the way.
I can tell, and that's fine. That affects grammar. That affects ideas, absolutely. So building confidence, it's a big part of this. So I said, how can people improve their creativity? And you said, as far as I can say, people can improve their creativity. I thought that it was really smart that, especially because you're feeling nervous, you use the question. So you said, okay, let's get going here. I'm going to use the question so it's clear. Okay, so as far as I can say, people can improve their creativity by watching a lot of people's, by watching other people. People is an irregular plural, right? There's no S on that. Some people say people's, and it's really strange when you hear this word like people's, because it's possessive and it's not a plural, right? So by watching other people that are creative. So same mistake as with Sarah, and I know it's one of the tricky ones in English, the is, are, that are creative. And then you kind of got stuck. You're like, what should I say? And then you realize, okay, I'm going to give a quick example of this, and then that will help. And that was a good idea. A quick, smooth example. You said, like me, as an architect, I'm watching a lot of people's designs. Sure. That was good. And then you said, I'm watching how's this building working. I get it, but that's not good English. Okay, so it's understandable English, but it's a band 5 or 6 level English. You need to have clear and accurate English. So I watch the way buildings are designed and constructed on YouTube, and this helps me to get good ideas. Okay, and this is inspiring for my graduation project. Okay, so watch those small mistakes. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and those awkward. So try to really focus on replacing those awkward phrases or awkward expressions with more natural ones. Okay, and one way to do that is with correction and repetition. So I'm going to repeat this and then just copy after me. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it's far as I can say, people can improve their creativity by watching other people that are creative and by practicing. Like me, as an architect, I'm watching a lot of people's designs. I watch the way buildings are designed and constructed on YouTube, and this helps me to get good ideas. And it's really inspiring for my graduation project.
As far as I can say, people can improve their creativity by watching other people that are creative and by practice. Like me as an architect, I am watching a lot of people designs. I watch the way buildings are designed and constructed on YouTube, and this helps me to get ideas, and this really inspiring for my graduation project.
Okay, much better, much more accurate. I think you can definitely get a higher score. Just keep practicing correcting your English and then repeating. Now, one more important point here for everybody. So don't rush. Always pay attention to the grammar of the question. I'm sure that a lot of our regular viewers probably caught this. They're like, oh, you have to use the present perfect here. So this next question was, has technology helped in any way to improve creativity? And you said, yeah, definitely. Don't rush into that answer. So yeah, it has definitely helped. Okay. Show the examiner present perfect, and it's as simple as that. Yeah, it has definitely helped. And then I know that you can use present perfect. Okay, so just repeat this part. You don't have to repeat the whole part, just repeat this. So has technology helped in any way to improve creativity?
Yeah, it has definitely helped.
Now I can give you grammar range scores. So now in my marking sheet where it says grammar range, and grammar range includes like present perfect, past perfect, conditional, passive, I can go, okay, grammar range, present perfect, check. Good job. All right, so pay attention to that, those little details, and you can definitely get a higher score, Kurlus. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, teacher.
All right. Kurlus, have an awesome rest of the day in Sudan. Keep up the good studies. I hope to see your amazing buildings in the future.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Really thanks for connecting with me.
You're most welcome. Bye for now, Kurlus.
Bye. Bye.
All right. An amazing individual, hardworking architect, right? Son, you were talking about your dad, the architect. There you go. Kurlus, a master's student in architecture. Very nice. All right. Give a thumbs up for Kurlus. That was fantastic. Tara, I am a man of my word. If you are here with us and have not left for a sandwich, then or a cup of tea, then are you ready? Again, students, we're using our website, aehelp.com here. So go there, register an account, log in, click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay, Student Partner Speaking. Accept the terms, check your microphone, your speakers, and then message me. You will see my name as Master, M-A-S-T-A-R. Okay, so, I didn't even send you that message, but you answered me. Tara, you're listening to me. That's good. Good for you. Okay, Tara is ready, so let's reach out to Tara.
Okay, hi, can you hear me?
I can, Tara. How are you doing?
Okay, perfect. Yes, I'm doing great. Yes, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Tara, can you remind us where you are calling from?
Yes, I'm from Vietnam.
From Vietnam, yes. And we've talked before, I remember. And the reason that I have trouble remembering where you're from is because you have such nice mimicry of that British accent. So good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Tara, are you ready to answer some questions?
Yes, definitely, yes.
All right, then here we go. Has technology helped in any way to improve creativity? And if yes, in what way?
Yeah, I believe technology has played such an important role in helping people to improve their creativity. Yes. So yeah, for example, normally people when out they get stuck and cannot find new ideas for their projects or their work of art. Normally they can ask questions or they can find other recommendations or suggestions on the internet. So technologies have just helped people to, to find better ways or to find lots of other resources or easier than the old day. Yeah, so I totally believe that technology is very important and helps us a lot in our creativity. Yeah.
Many people think that creativity requires imagination. Do you agree with this idea? Why or why not?
Oh, yes. To be honest, I'm kind of like neutral on this because I think it's mostly depends on the type of like work that the people work in. So, for example, if the people work in like singing industries or art like singing or drawing, then imagination is definitely an important factors. But if they work in other areas, I think along with creativity there be tons of other factors or criterias that can help us to be creative, like even sometimes mathematical stuff can actually help people to be more creative. Yeah, so I'm kind of neutral on this.
All right. I will stop there and give you some feedback on that. Good work, by the way. So pronunciation, definitely a 9. It's got that nice, like I say, kind of British style accent, your speech. And that's great. Easy to understand what you're saying. So 9 there. Natural, yeah, you have quite natural language. So pronunciation helps natural language. So your speech definitely sounds natural. And you have good vocabulary, good fluency. So I think you would score like a band 7.5 for sure. But I do believe that with your English, you should be aiming for an 8.5, potentially even a 9. However, to get into that 8 and 9 range, Tara, content is king. Okay, so there's this saying in the world today, and this saying has become very popular around the world because of social media and people becoming big figures in social media, that content is king. And this expression is well known to web designers. It's well known to content producers like myself, and it's well known to even the IELTS, where content is king. So for that band 8, band 9, you have to have good content, good information that is clear. And I'll give you a couple of pointers so that in the future you can avoid a couple of classic mistakes, because you made a couple classic mistakes that a lot of students make. So so I asked you, has technology helped in any way to improve creativity? If yes, in what way? And you said, yeah, I believe technology has played such an important role. You had a couple of small grammatical mistakes, but they were almost irrelevant. It almost didn't matter. They were so slight. But you used the question, and you learned from Kurlus's example that you need to use present perfect, right? You're like, okay, I got to use present perfect on this one, right? So you say, yeah, I believe technology has played such an important role in improving creativity. You use the question. Good. Now, first mistake is for example. Don't use that. Okay, so as soon as you said for example, the examiners start to worry. They're like, uh-oh, here comes a long story that's going to go off topic, and it's going to, so, and then you did it again. So you said, for example, here as well with your answer, right? So it seems like, you know, this is a style of speech that you have adopted where you say, for example, but be really careful in the IELTS exam. When candidates do that, there are a lot of examiners that just start to interrupt you. So as soon as they hear you say, for example, they literally just jump to the next part. They go, oh, let's talk about arts and crafts. They won't even give you the chance to continue. So quick tip, just don't say, for example. Just start with if. So if you're about to say, okay, so if you're about to say, for example, instead of saying it, just pause for a second and say, if people work in singing and drawing, then imagination is important. Don't say, for example, if people, okay? Also, the expression to be honest is overused, and it's okay. If you use it once or twice, it's not the end of the world, but people tend to overuse this expression, and it's an awkward expression because it's, number one, it's IELTS. I don't care if you're honest. You can totally lie to me, okay? I'm not
Okay.
I'm not a judge in a courtroom who is here to judge your honesty. I'm just here to judge your English. Nothing to do with your honesty. So you don't have to be honest. I know it's an expression, but you don't have to be honest to me, okay? So it doesn't make sense. Also, it's just a random question. You know, sure you're honest, right? So don't need it, okay? Now, let's jump back to this one here. So, has technology helped in any way to improve creativity? Again, good English, but you had redundancy, repetition, and it's another reason why examiners will interrupt a candidate, is when they feel like the candidate is just looping what you're saying. So you're just going around and around and around and around and saying the same idea. So you said, for example, when people get stuck for ideas for their work and art, they can find suggestions on the internet. That was good. That was okay. And then you said, so technology has helped people find ways to improve. You've already said that, and then you actually said it one more time here after that. So you repeated it a third time, and the examiner is kind of like, why are you repeating the same information? So you don't repeat. Either you stop and wait for the next question, or you give an explanation or an example that you haven't given yet. Okay? All right?
Okay. It's too messy, and I should add ideas or just stop talking, right?
Exactly. When you start exactly, because if you start repeating and you said messy, another way to say that is it becomes incoherent. So when we hear the same concept repeated and repeated, instead of making it clear, it actually works the opposite. It starts to become confusing for the listener. So yeah, I believe technology has played such an important role in improving creativity. Let's take out the, for example, when people get stuck for ideas for their work and art, they can find suggestions on the internet. There are a lot of software like Photoshop and DaVinci Resolve.
Inkscape.
Yeah, I'm sure you know a few, which help creators to be creative. Okay. So, and no repetition. Okay.
Okay.
DaVinci, yeah. Creators, there we go. So now that's a lot more accurate without repetition, without the for example. Let me just repeat this and then copy after me, and everybody do this, okay? So here we go. Yeah, I believe technology has played such an important role in improving creativity. When people get stuck for ideas for their work and art, they can find suggestions on the internet. There are a lot of software like Photoshop and DaVinci Resolve, which help creators to be creative.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I believe technology has played such an important role in improving creativity. Like when people get stuck with ideas or their work or art, they can find suggestions on the internet. And there are tons of softwares like Photoshops or DaVinci Resolve, which help creators to be more creative.
Band 9.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's the difference between a 7, 5, and a 9.
Okay. Not messy and very clear. Okay.
Did you have a question? It sounded like you had a question there.
Yeah, I was wondering because normally I speak quite like, my tempo is quite quick. Like I talk too fast. So I was wondering, was I too fast in the answer?
You're fine. So the natural range of speed for a speaker can be fairly slow. Some native speakers speak fairly slow and drawn out, and some speak very, very quickly. So there's quite a range of speed for natural. What's most important is that you find the speed where you can still give quality information. So if you are finding that at your current speed, you tend to repeat ideas or go off topic or miss details, then slow yourself down by 5-10% and use that extra time to focus more on the content. Once you have the right content, then you can worry again about building more speed. Content is always more important than speed. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
All right, you are very, very welcome. Another very important tip before you go, Tara, it's a really important one, is never be neutral. And this is an important tip for everybody, okay? So your answer here, oh yes, to be honest, I'm kind of neutral, okay? Never give a neutral answer. People just don't like it. Neutral's boring. Okay.
And last time you did get the advice of not saying no too much. So,
Yeah.
so I guess I should say yes, right?
Yeah, exactly. People love optimism. Generally speaking, people love optimism. So we get so much negative news in the media, and we get so much pessimism in the world, that we don't want to hear about the world ending. We don't want to hear about COVID killing all the people. We don't want to hear about the world blowing up anymore. We want to hear positive ideas. You're going to buy a house. You're going to meet the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams. You're going to be a successful person in your career. We want to hear optimism, right? So generally speaking, positive answers, optimistic answers lead to good results, okay? Just naturally. So we want to avoid negatives, and we want to avoid neutrals, because neutral is boring, okay? Yeah, so and that's the goal of university. In university, when we talk science, we always have a hypothesis, an idea or a theory, and that theory always goes to one side. We never try to, well, I shouldn't say never, but it's rare to try to say it's both, because usually scientists, professors, people are just like, oh, who cares? We don't care if it's both, right? So don't be neutral. And oftentimes it's easier not to be neutral. So many people think that creativity requires imagination. Do you agree with this? Absolutely, I agree.
Yes.
That creativity requires imagination. And then you can explain that, right? So you can explain how creativity requires imagination. I don't want you to do that now, but I just want you to repeat this sentence, and I want everybody to repeat this sentence so that you remember in the future that it's best usually to stay on the positive, okay, or on one side at least. It's better to stay on one side, even if it's negative, than to be neutral. So being neutral is the worst. Being negative is, well, it depends on the question. And then being optimistic is the best. So here we go. Just repeat this one simple phrase after me, Tara. Absolutely, I agree that creativity requires imagination.
Okay, so absolutely, I agree that creativity requires imagination.
And then now you can go into an explanation, an example, but you don't need to do it for me now. You can practice that later. Tara, thank you for volunteering. That was awesome.
Okay, thank you so much for your advice and everything. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Tara.
Yes, goodbye.
I would never guess that Tara is from Vietnam. She doesn't have the slightest Vietnamese accent at all. Incredible. All right. Give her a thumbs up. That was fantastic. Okay. Lots of volunteers here. Let's see if Leonardo is available. I mean, just the name Leonardo, one of the most creative individuals in history. Leonardo da Vinci. His name just came up with DaVinci Resolve, the video editing software. So let's see if Leonardo, the first timer, is here. So are you there? With a name like that, Leonardo, you must have answers for us about creativity. Even if you think of your name keep. Leonardo is there. Let's go. All right, no pressure, right? Hello. Hi, Leonardo.
Hey, how are you, Adrian?
I am fantastic. Leonardo, are you in Italy?
I wish, but I'm not. I actually living in Colombia, South America.
In Colombia. Yeah, of course, that was presumptuous of me. And again, it's just because of the name, right? Leonardo having strong
Yeah.
Italian roots. But you are in Colombia. Okay, awesome. Leonardo, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to doing the IELTS because I want to move to Canada actually to study, going to a college, and get a better lifestyles. That's what I want.
Higher quality of life. Yeah,
Yes.
not better lifestyles, but higher quality of
Okay,
life.
good. Hi.
Right? It's the teacher in me. I always have to correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good for you. You sound like a very intelligent young man, and so I really hope that you realize your dreams because I think you would be a great addition to the Canadian culture and population. And as a Canadian, I hope that you make it. And you're on the right path. Practice is definitely the way to get there. So let's do this, Leonardo. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Give me some nice full sentence answers, just like the previous volunteers. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Okay, here we go. Many people think that creativity requires imagination. Do you agree with this idea? Why or why not?
Yes, I totally agree with that. From my experience, I think that um, imagination plays a great role in, in creativity because it will help you um, getting to think in ways no other people can do. So for most of the part of creativity, that will get. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Okay, so no other people can do. And
Let's talk about arts and crafts. Many people like to make certain objects by their own two hands. Why is this?
okay, for people, um, for individuals, they like to express with their hands um, what they can do, what they think, and they want to share how they feel. So for what I think is there is are individuals trying to do their best to express emotions, to transmit and share their ideas of something that really has make an impact in them.
Okay, got it, most of it. All right, good. First time volunteering, as you said, you're kind of nervous. And
Yeah.
by the way, Leonardo, this is exactly the right step to build confidence. So the way to build confidence for your IELTS exam is to practice with other people, practice with other experts like myself or other candidates, with your friends, and just build that confidence. Practice with strangers, right? So if you meet somebody that's doing IELTS, say, hey, you want to practice with me? So when you do the speaking part of the test, when you go to the exam center, then find other students before your speaking test, sit down with them and talk with them. That will help you to become less nervous during,
Nervous.
yeah, and you'll be more fluent and you'll have better answers. I think you have good English. I don't think your answers were the best as far as content is concerned, but I think your English is quite good. So I think for these answers, the examiner can only give you a mark for what you tell them. So for these answers, the best mark that you could get is a 6, maybe even lower, a 5.5, just because you're really lacking coherence in the answer. Okay. But I honestly think that your English, on a personal level, I think that your English is probably closer to a 7.75. So you really have to just practice to make sure that you show your true level of English. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
And that will come through building confidence and through just training your thinking to be a little bit different. Okay. All right. So I asked you this question. Many people think that creativity requires imagination. Do you agree with this idea? Why or why not? Now, you learned from Tara's situation, and you said, oh, yes, I totally agree with that. Right. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, let's just go with one side here. Now, here's, and then you said, from my experience, I think that imagination plays a great role in creativity. Okay, so that's, again, very good. Until this part here, for the beginning, it was really good. What is the key word here in this sentence? From my experience, I think that imagination plays a great role in creativity. What's the key word of focus here?
I will say imagination.
Yeah, definitely one of two. It's imagination and creativity. Okay, so that's the key word. Now, let's do it in a different color. You've identified this as the key word, right? And the rest of your answer, this part here, it will help you think in ways no other people can. Well, that's starting to, go off a little bit into a strange direction, especially using you. So don't use the word you in your IELTS exam. It's me, my, or people, individuals, artists, painters. Okay, but it's not you. All right, you're not talking to me, the examiner. You're talking about people or about yourself. So let's take all that out and let's focus a little bit on imagination. What is imagination?
Imagination is a state where individuals reach an idea or a different way of getting an idea.
How do I imagine?
How do I imagine? I mean, for me, it just works like staying up all night and maybe 2, 3 in the morning, thinking that will definitely do the trick.
Okay. So yes, it's a little bit challenging, right? Like, how do I define imagination? But you have to keep
Yeah.
it simple, okay? It's not magic at the end of the day. There is logic behind it. Even imagination has logic, right? Anahita in the chat says, by using our brain. Amra and Rajveer have some very good answers. We visualize, we picture, right? So don't forget some of the simple facts when you're answering these questions. IELTS isn't meant to be super tricky. You just use kind of common sense and knowledge of the world around us. So humans perceive the world, we understand the world around us through our senses, right? Through taste, touch, smell, sound, and sight, right? So when we imagine, we think about the way an object looks, or we think about the way music sounds, right? So that's our imagination. Our imagination are using our senses to create the world around us that doesn't exist. Do you agree?
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so that's how we imagine. So when you hear the question and you identify the keyword like imagination, then immediately you have to think, okay, well, what is that? Because I have to explain it, right? So yes, I totally agree with that. From my experience, I think that imagination plays a great role in creativity because by visualizing and seeing, we can do a little bit of repeat here, seeing the world around us, people, artists, and architects can create new images and buildings that never existed before. I'm sure that Leonardo da Vinci, I had to do it.
Yeah.
Da Vinci was extremely imaginative when he drew the first helicopter or the Mona Lisa, or painted the Mona Lisa, because it's not drawing, right? It's painting. All right. Using our imagination, right? We visualize, we hear, we touch, we smell. So here we go. Practice with me. And again, the important learning point here is identify that keyword and define it in a simple, clear way as much as possible. When you're doing this at home, make sure to practice this, and it will become easier and easier as you go to do the IELTS, okay? All right, here we go. So I'm going to say this and then just repeat, okay? So yes, I totally agree with that. From my experience, I think that imagination plays a great role in creativity, because by visualizing and seeing the world around us, people, artists, and architects can create new images and buildings that never existed before. I'm sure that Leonardo da Vinci was extremely imaginative when he drew the first helicopter and painted the Mona Lisa.
Yes, I totally agree with that. From my experience, I think that imagination plays a great role in creativity, because by visualizing and seeing the world around us, people, artists, and architects can create new images and buildings that never existed before. I'm sure that Leonardo da Vinci was extremely imaginative when he drew the first helicopter or painted the Mona Lisa.
Nice. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Okay, answer, explain, example, stick to simple thoughts. Now, when I say simple thoughts like visualization, I don't say that it's easy. I always remind students of this. Simple does not mean easy. In fact, simple is often much more difficult. It's easier for us to be complex or to over-explain. So we have to practice simplicity. Okay, Leonardo?
Yes.
All right, Leonardo, have an awesome rest of your day in Colombia, and keep practicing, okay? Come back, volunteer again.
Yeah, I'll see you next Saturday.
Sounds great. Bye for now, Leonardo.
Bye.
All right. Okay, good. Very nice, students. Very, very nice. All right. Let's pick somebody else. We've got lots of students here, which is fantastic. We've got a bit more time to go as well, so let's see if Harmony is around. All right, Harmony, are you ready? Harmony, if you're still with us. I believe Harmony has volunteered before, and I have heard her voice in the past. So let's see if Harmony is with us right now.
Hello, sure.
Hi, Harmony. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. About you?
I'm also doing fantastic. That's great. We're on the same page. Harmony, can you remind us, where are you right now in our big wide world?
Oh, yes.
Are you in Vietnam? Where are you? Which country?
Yeah, I'm in Vietnam. I volunteered like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I thought I remembered, but I'm not always sure, so I'm a little bit hesitant to guess. Well, I'm glad you're back again, Harmony. Are you feeling a little bit more confident than 2 or 3 weeks ago? A little bit less nervous?
Yes, definitely. I feel more confident.
Good. That's kind of a hidden message there for Leonardo and for other viewers. So one way to build confidence, right, is just to keep volunteering, keep practicing, share your ideas, and you'll become brave. All right, Harmony, are you ready for a couple of questions?
Yes, absolutely sure.
Awesome. Then let's do it. So let's talk about arts and crafts. Many people like to make certain objects by their own 2 hands. Why is this?
Well, as far as I know, people are usually take something for the memory, and they purchase some souvenir themselves, as they do some handmade, and they transfer it to the young generation, and this is the principal reason for making their own objects.
Have the ways in which people make certain items at home changed compared with a generation before?
Well, yes, definitely. The the item that are certainly changed, which are the comparing to the young generation. The items are more advanced with upgrade tools and are some like modern stuff, and thanks to the modernization of the technology, people can find some suggestions and some strategy on YouTube or some in the internet, and find some new ways to making the item themselves glowing.
Okay, good. All right, nice. All right. So, Harmony, practice, practice, practice. Okay, make sure you record yourself, listen back. Practice copying native speakers. So choose either the American accent or the British accent. Don't do both. Try to focus on one. Doesn't matter which one for the IELTS. Doesn't matter. In my opinion, maybe I'm biased because I'm Canadian, but I think the American accent is a little bit clearer, a little bit easier to understand. But British accent, American accent, choose one and then copy it. Sometimes your pronunciation is a little bit tricky for me to understand. So some of the words I'm like really paying attention to try to figure out what it is that you're saying exactly. So you want to improve your pronunciation to have better coherence. Okay, Harmony?
Yes, sir.
Right? And it's just repetition. So listen to one of your favorite actresses or actors and repeat what they say. Repeat what they say. Copy the sounds. Practice phonetics. Okay. Let's look at this question, the second one that you answered here. So have the ways in which people make certain items at home changed compared with a generation before? You said, well, yes, definitely. I was like, where's the present perfect? We talked about this earlier in the class. Well, yes, it has.
Yeah, I forget.
Don't forget it. You lose points. You lose points. You need that present perfect. Well, yes, it has. It has definitely changed. Even repeat it. It has definitely changed. Yeah, which is a good answer because, I mean, people change. Times change. History changes. So, yes, it has. It has definitely changed. The items that are certainly changed comparing to younger generations. The items that younger generations make by hand have certainly become different than in past generations. Okay, and then you came up with good ideas. So one good part of your speech, Harmony, is that you have good content. So you have good ideas, okay? You said the items are more advanced with upgraded tools. Yeah, I agree with you. Today's tools are a lot more modern than what people had in the past. So we have precision tools, we have electronic tools that help us to be even more creative, right, with our hands. And what would be an example of a modern day tool that didn't really exist before? You can come up with one. It doesn't have to be the truth. So what do you think, Harmony? What's a modern day tool that helps people to make objects by hand?
Well, there are many colorful, like by knitting the colorful fabric, and the quality is improved very much from the past.
Okay, so like many more colorful fabrics for knitting than during my grandmother's time. I would have gone with an easier idea, like computers, like computers that help us design what we will make.
Yeah.
But you went with something a little bit more challenging, like colorful fabrics, which is okay, than knitting during my grandmother's time. Okay. All right. And then you gave another really good idea. You said, thanks to technology, people can find some information on YouTube or on the internet for making the items themselves. Okay, do you have an example of an item that you made yourself watching a video on YouTube?
Well, people might find themselves many panacea for the thriller
Just yourself.
ways to.
Harmony, just yourself. So what is something that you made watching a YouTube video? I bet you've made something. Everybody does this. So I'm sure you made something in the last few months watching a YouTube video. Think. I can think of
Yes.
like 2 or 3 different things I've made in the last month watching YouTube videos. What have you made watching a YouTube video?
Well, watching YouTube can increase the form the habits for people to find the way if they have no ideas.
Simpler, personal. So I would do something like this. I made an incredible chocolate cake watching a YouTube video last week. Okay, so that's something that our parents or grandparents didn't have, right? I've made origami, folding. If you're talking about knitting, you can say I made an amazing scarf watching a YouTube video, right? So keep it simple. All right, keep your thoughts simple. It's kind of like the same advice I said to Leonardo. Simple is not easy, but it's the best for getting those high band scores, right? All right, let's try this. So I'm going to say it and then repeat after me. And this is for everybody. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. So, well, yes, it has. It has definitely changed. The items that young generations make by hand have certainly become different than in past generations. Handmade items are more advanced using upgraded tools like many more colorful fabrics for knitting than during my grandmother's time. Thanks to technology, people can find some information on YouTube or the internet for making items themselves. I made an incredible chocolate cake watching a YouTube video last week. Have the ways in which people make certain items at home changed compared with a generation before?
Well, yes, it has. It has definitely changed. The items that young generations make by hand have suddenly become different than in the past generations. The items are more advanced and using upgraded tools like many more colorful fabrics for knitting and than during my grandmother's time. Thanks to the technology, people can find some information about on YouTube or on the internet for making the item themselves. I made an incredible chocolate cake watching a YouTube video last week.
Awesome. That would be a much better band score. And you're doing a great job with the repetition. So your English has become much clearer. The pronunciation is a lot better. That would definitely be a much higher band score. So that's what you want to do, okay? So record yourself, correct it, get help correcting it if you need it, and then repeat and keep doing that, okay? Keep practicing that, and I guarantee that you will improve, Harmony, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for volunteering. I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend.
Yes, have a great day, sir.
Bye for now, Harmony.
Bye, sir.
Okay, that was Harmony. Really good. Fantastic. Students, there are so many of you in the chat right now. Nadia's in here. Akshay, Shivam, Mohammed, Yanni, Rajveer, Sansar, tons more, but I'm running out of time, everybody. So practice with each other. This interface on our website is for you, along with all of our other great tools.
Welcome.
So make sure to
Welcome to
let's stop that. All right. So make sure to practice with each other. Okay, not just me. You can practice with each other. Build the confidence. Keep your personal information private. Okay. Stick to IELTS. Practice for the IELTS. You've got a lot of tools at the top of the page here. Okay. So right at the very top there, you've got some scripts right there that you can practice with. okay? And so make sure to do that. Practice with each other. Sign up for our premium IELTS package. Click the big red button. Marie, it's good to see you in the class. Long time no see. Thank you for the super chat donation. That was really cool. So click this big red button that's just above my head there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. And if you didn't get a chance to speak with me today, don't worry about it. You will have the chance next week. We've got tons more classes coming up next week starting on Wednesday. So we'll have lots of speaking classes as well. See, here's our schedule. We'll have speaking, along with listening, task 2 and writing as well. So lots of speaking classes next week. To get our schedule, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the notification button. Make sure that you get notifications from us and that you know when these live classes are happening. Follow us at aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. These are basically our textbooks for the live classes. Amra, you are most welcome. Thank you for your continued support. All right. Good luck, everybody who's taking their IELTS exam in the next few days. Make sure to practice. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. We've got more videos coming for you. Stay tuned. Stay happy. Stay positive. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the big, beautiful world today. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada. Bye for now, everyone.